After the WHO miserably failed to investigate the origins of the coronavirus, now the chief of the UN, Antonio Guterres, tells us to trust the WHO more. And at the same time, US President Donald Trump is threatening to make the defunding of the WHO permanent. So where is all of this headed? Let's take a look at that in today's video. Alright, so let's read this Euronews article. It reads, Coronavirus, UN Chief Antonio Guterres slams countries for ignoring WHO advice. The head of the United Nations has slammed some countries for ignoring the advice of the WHO during the corona pandemic. Calling for an end to the hubris, Antonio Guterres said the pandemic should serve as a wake-up call to a world which needs to be more united in its response to crises. By ignoring the WHO's advice, the UN Secretary General said the virus has spread to poorer countries where it, quote, could have even more devastating effects. Alright, so this is the part I wanted to highlight. At a virtual meeting of the WHO's World Health Assembly, Guterres said, "We have seen talk of solidarity, but very little unity in our response to COVID-19. Countries have followed different, sometimes contradictory strategies, and we are all paying a high price for this. Many countries have ignored the recommendations of the WHO, and as a result, the virus has spread throughout the world and is now heading towards southern countries where it could have even more devastating effects, and we risk new peaks and waves." So basically what the head of the UN, Antonio Guterres, is saying here is that if we had all just followed the advice of the WHO, we would all have been in a much better place right now. The problem with that is that the WHO have been wrong a lot of the time. Just 1.5 months ago, the WHO told everyone that healthy people didn't need to wear masks at all. And when the virus began spreading across China, the WHO did not carry out the investigation that it was supposed to carry out to investigate the origins of the virus, basically because China told them to. Then after that, China went on to donate another $30 million into the organization. So as we're looking into these statements from Guterres, it's important to remember that the WHO is part of the UN. And to be completely fair, he is right in saying that we need to be more united in fighting the virus. I mean, who disagrees with that? The problem is that when you blame people for not following the rules that you put in place, you better make sure that those rules are consistent, and they haven't been. And it's a little ironic when he says it's your fault that the virus is spreading now, when under his leadership, the WHO could have stopped it to begin with. So in relation to this, President Trump is now giving the WHO an ultimatum to show that they really are independent from China, or the US will withdraw its funding permanently. I won't read the full document because it's pretty long and you can find it yourself on Twitter, but I will read the end of the document to you, which kind of summarizes it all. It says, "It is clear the repeated missteps by you and your organization in responding to the pandemic have been extremely costly for the world. The only way forward for the WHO is if it can actually demonstrate independence from China. My administration has already started discussions with you on how to reform the organization. But action is needed quickly. We do not have time to waste. That is why it is my duty as President of the US to inform you that if the WHO does not commit to major substantive improvements within the next 30 days, I will make my temporary freeze of United States funding to the WHO permanent and reconsider our membership in the organization. I cannot allow American taxpayer dollars to continue to finance an organization that, in its present state, is so clearly not serving America's interests." So this is really a strong warning from the US president. But as all things in life, except with God of course, this isn't all good or all bad. If the US completely withdraws from the WHO, China will just take over the vacuum that the US will leave behind as they've done so far, gaining the influence and the power that they want into the WHO. Secondly, the WHO does do a lot of good work. This is just one of the many issues that they are dealing with on a daily basis. Sadly, this issue has become too politicized now. And when things become too politicized, it becomes way less about the issue and much more about looking good and making your opponent look bad. Alright guys, remember to subscribe to my channel if you like this video, and make sure to comment in the comment section below. I always enjoy reading and responding to your comments. Thanks a lot for watching the full video, and have a great day.